presentation.
I'm just looking at the new changes on the
Yes. As part of the process of changing the name of the school, there are some legal actions that need to be put into place. So as we have changed the name of Squaw Peak Traditional Academy to Biltmore Preparatory Academy, there is a legal action that has to be made, and this evening this is being presented.
Any comments or discussion? This is our last chance to, we can call it Creighton's Biltmore Preparatory Academy. Anyone's interested? First reading, no vote, no comments. Okay. Legislative and political report, Mr. Jewett.
Yes, the legislature is starting to meet in small groups to discuss the budget. I think there probably is generally good feeling toward what the governor's proposal was on the part of the majority. So I don't think it'll be a long, drawn-out process, would be my guess. In terms of other bills, we have quite a few that are moving that having to do with student tuition organizations, and also 1256, which came out of Senate Education this week, prohibits a governing board from entering into a collective bargaining agreement that requires the transferring or reassigning of a certificated teacher employed at a school within the district during the previous year to another school within the same district during the next year. I'm sorry, that wasn't the one that I was looking at. There was one that I believe prohibited us from entering into meet and confer, and I think that one had passed out of Senate Ed, did it not? Also, there are
So can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a number of bills that would limit or, I guess, eliminate labor's right to organize and then enter into this type of negotiation. So, the possible impact for Creighton, I mean, what would we be able to call a group of teacher representatives to do this, or would we just do it on our own? I mean, what would the
I'm
looking at it from our perspective, not necessarily labor's perspective.
I am not clear. I can tell you that the Arizona School Boards Association, which is generally not necessarily stood with the Arizona Education Association on every issue regarding labor, since basically ASBA represents the employer. The ASBA was opposed to this presumably because of it being a local control issue, that it is currently something that is a local control, local decision, and I believe that this is something that takes that away, and that's what ASBA's reasoning was in opposing this. Other bills? There is one that passed out of Senate Ed that requires notification requirements for charter school closures. You may have heard about charter schools that tend to close in the middle of the year without giving much advance notice. And I don't have the information in front of me in terms of what the ones were that had to do with student tuition organizations, but they are moving. They do create additional tax credits, basically, that would take money out of the general fund.
Anything on increased capacity for bonding?
I've not seen that. There is a bill for that. I believe it was 2405 in the House, but I've not seen that on an agenda.
We received an email today from our architect saying that it came out of the committee on a 7-2 vote. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
To you? It came out of committee on a 7-2 vote.
There is also one that appears to have come out of committee in the House, and I'm not sure which committee. HCR 2043 would pass on a 6-3 vote. It would put on the November 12 ballot a proposition that would require a 2/3 vote for initiatives and referenda, including bonds and overrides, to take effect. So that means that our overrides would not only, and bonds would not only have to pass, they would have to get 2/3 of the vote. So that would be essentially impossible. That one is moving.
What number is that, Matt?
HCR 2043.
Okay, I have a couple bills that I think would impact our district and something we should pay attention to. Representative Myers' bill, House Bill 2497, passed committee. It would empower the school board to issue multi-year contracts for school teachers up to 3 years. I think that would be something that we might want to consider for our most effective teachers. And also, a new bill was introduced yesterday, House Bill 2823. It's Representative Goodale's bill, and it addresses teacher and principal evaluations. Kind of the highlights of that would be to create common performance classifications across the state. So when school districts report out on we have X number of highly effective teachers or X number of effective teachers, that school districts and charters are reporting the same thing. And also it would, provide incentives for our most effective teachers, rewarding them with extra pay, incentives to teach in the hard-to-teach schools. That's both for teachers and principals, and would prohibit transferring ineffective teachers. This would be using the new evaluation systems that have yet to be completed, but that would look at multiple measures of data, multiple observations, multiple years to determine how effective a teacher is and principal.
Does the bill identify a source of this funding, incentive funding?
It does. Prop 301. So that would be tied to the evaluation outcomes based on the observations that we conduct and the student progress, however that is designed locally. So that one will be controversial. This board member thinks it's a good bill, probably a great bill, but we'll see. I'll keep you posted. Any other updates? Okay. Under future agenda items, I wanted to remind everyone on the board to submit your feedback to Hilda on health and human growth development. She'll be compiling our data and presenting it back to us so we can have a discussion about that and call for a committee. And then the second item was and Matt, you missed this, we talked about the naming facilities policy, and I thought we could do the same sort of thing, submit our ideas to Hilda, the ones that have the most consensus we'll put together for first reading and try and knock out the new policy. So make sure you meet with Dr. Boyle as soon as possible to fill that stuff out, because we're going to have those conversations March 6th or 7th. Any other future agenda items?
I will work on scheduling the Representative Goodale, who had agreed to talk to us about the unification process in Kingman.
Thank you. Great. That's it. Is there?
I move the governing board adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.